Founder of Hit Detection, which is a boutique consultancy that focuses on video games, consumer technology, and corporate strategy. And I can't tell you what that is. And my friend and former colleague, Stephen Totilo, is the deputy editor of Kotaku. But I think he did his best work when he was my intern at NBC back in 1999.
Yeah, sure. I chase any guy out of journalism.
But seriously, Stephen, as some of you may know, 1999 is when I started to seriously cover games and learn about games.
And play games.
Where I didn't know the difference between first party and third party and how many bits meant what. And Stephen did an excellent job educating me. And I guess that's why I get to be here today to present our authoritative, definitive, scientific list of the best video games of all time.
Right. We've come up with, we believe, is the greatest way of all time, the best way of all time to figure out what the best games of all time. We have some panelists who are going to help us out. We also have a lot of people who have helped us out the last 2 weeks. Immediately to my right is Frank Lantz. If any of you have played Drop 7 on your iPhone and lost some hours of your life to it, he's the man to blame. Frank is the creative director of Area Code. He's also the director of the NYU Game Center.
He did not write the ludicrous song.
To his right is Chris Avalon, who tells me he worked on a shitload, I'm going to curse just for you, a shitload of Dungeons and Dragons games. He's currently the creative director of Obsidian Entertainment, which means he knows a whole lot more about Alpha Protocol and Fallout New Vegas than anyone else in the room. And actually the panel is just doing really good at telling us all about these games. This is all front. And to his right is Justin Richmond, who is now a game director at Naughty Dog, but you have him to thank for the multiplayer mode of Uncharted 2. He was the lead multiplayer designer of a pretty good game.
And with that, we'll sort of plunge in. So, obviously, I'm being a little facetious when I say that there's no such thing as scientifically determining the 10 best games of all time. So you kind of have to give it like a question mark. Are you ready? I would like some more. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't give it a name, because that's a little ungainly. You gotta give it something a little snappier, something you can remember, something that you might eventually want to buy a t-shirt from us for. So that's what, and Steve and I actually came up with this a couple years ago when we were trying to get a video podcast off the ground, where when Stephen worked for a channel that used to run music videos, right, Stephen?
Yeah, talking
But seriously, we're trying to get a video podcast off the ground. We're trying to come up with some recurring features, and that's where actually this idea comes from. It was sort of, I guess, Stephen's idea to do this panel and rescue it from the dustbin of history.
Yes.
So what is cannon fodder? As I said, cannon fodder is the best method of all time for determining the best video games of all time. Cannon fodder is a multiplayer game. As you know, these days, if something's just single player, it's going to get returned, it's going to get traded in.
Yes.
I think these guys added excellent multiplayer to Uncharted 2. So, we're keeping up with the times. We want to be multiplayer as well.
Fallout New Vegas, I'm sure, has multiplayer.
But our multiplayer game is played by one person at a time. And we'll get more into that later. Cannon fodder recognizes that the perception of the best video games evolves over time. And we say, well, yeah, but we can't wait that long, because we have to do a weekly show. At the time,
he's pretty old.
I think I are pretty old. Getting older by the minute soon. And so why not compress that evolution in a shorter period of time to make it more interesting? So the idea, again, is to come up with the top 10 video games of all time. But we have to start somewhere to let other people evolve it. And so we went to the recognized experts on the video games, game rankings. And courtesy of GameRankings.com, we came up with this list.
Right. So the list you see there is, if you were to go to GameRankings.com about 2 weeks ago, and you were able to do a filter, you'd say, show me the games that were released on any platform that GameRankings.com has game reviews for. As you know, GameRankings.com, or you may not know, is like Metacritic in that they aggregate review scores from all those people who put numbers on their reviews online, which Kotaku doesn't do that. But other people, yeah. Yay, Kotaku, boo everyone else.